Hey guys, welcome to the neighborhood of the Pixel Street podcast, where every week, sometimes two, sometimes three, fucking nerds just get together. We talk about video games. I am your host for this week, John Hansen, and I am joined by the one and only Connor Kopp. Connor, how's it going?
It's good. It's an interesting week with like some news, but not a lot of news. Just
It
kind of
seems
weird
like,
tidbits and stuff.
yeah, it seems like a lot of little news, which
Yeah,
is, I don't know, I mean, this whole year's just been weird. Let's just say that, but
yeah, no kidding.
definitely, yeah, definitely an odd one this week. Um, this week we are focusing on Microsoft getting involved in some GameStop business. Also, Avengers is having issues keeping players, and we've got actually quite a bit of Minecraft news that we're gonna go over. Before we get to that, though, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. First, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street or Facebook. Our show goes live every Friday on your podcast platform of choice, and you can now become a Pixel Street pal by joining our brand new Discord server. This Saturday, the day after this podcast goes up, we are playing Among Us again. So if you want to join and have some fun, just join into our Discord. You can find the join link pinned on our Twitter. It's going to be a lot of fun. I really expect we're going to have more people than we did last time, and last time we were close to a full lobby, so be sure to come on in. It's going to be some fun. You can also check out our brand new YouTube, Pixel Street Videos. We just put up a Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay video of the Last Stand, which is the newest campaign. We were joined by Joel's friend Will, who has a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/thepianoman23 if you want to check him out. We had a ton of fun playing that, right, Connor?
It was an absolute blast. It's been so long since I jumped into Left 4 Dead 2 in general, or honestly even thought about it. I know you think about it every night, but
Yeah.
normal people like me, it's been a while, and it's cool to see that game still holds up. It's a lot of fun. Man, is that new campaign just fantastic. Definitely check out the video. We had a blast.
For sure. Do you have anything else you want to announce or anything?
No, nothing on my
No,
end.
no. All right, cool. So then let's just jump right into what we've been playing, and I think we should just start with Left 4 Dead 2 because man, that was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, it's been quite a while since I jumped into the Left 4 Dead campaigns and did much with those, and I was a little worried about how difficult it would be to jump back in for this final campaign, and kind of get reacquainted with the controls and just how the game works and everything. Is gosh, Left 4 Dead 2 came out what decade ago somewhere?
2009, 2010. I think it was
Wow.
2009.
Yeah, so just about a decade ago, and yeah, it's still fantastic. I had so much fun with that. The cool thing about it, though, I guess that's worth mentioning, is this campaign that they put out for it. It's not made by Valve, correct?
Nope, yeah, this is made by a bunch of community members. And actually, I recently put up an article going over the best Left 4 Dead 2 mods that you can find on Steam before we played this. And after looking at the names in that developer list, it's like all just people that put out the best mods for the game. So it was made by a bunch of people that truly love the game. And another little nice tidbit that I didn't realize until Will started mentioning it, but the final area of the game is actually the same map for the very first survival map that was released for Left 4 Dead back in the day. Uh, so it's just a campaign connecting that piece to the story, which is just so cool, really. And yeah, man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. Everything was well put together. I mean, it was about what I would expect out of another piece of DLC for that game. It was about an hour long, is what it took us, and that was failing once, and we were playing on what, like, regular difficulty for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so nothing too difficult there, but yeah, I mean, it's basically all the stuff you expect from Left 4 Dead. There's a safe room halfway through. It's got all those Left 4 Dead notes you want, and the weapons. A great variety of weapons on this map, which I'm always a big fan of. I hate the maps that only give you like the crappy pistols or anything.
yeah, just
Which
the start out weapons.
right, which is a nightmare. But yeah, it was so much fun. I love this game so much, and I think that it really made me realize that there's a big space for that horde style game
Mm.
in today's game, ecosystem. Just because we don't have things like that, at least to that level anymore. That still have a quality story attached to it, still have something else. Like the most recent one that jumps to mind is World War Z, which was fantastic. But aside from that, I mean, I can't think of much. There's that one that's supposed to be coming out here in the future. What's
Back
the
for
name of that one?
Blood, which is
Back
being
for
made by
Blood.
Turtle Rock, who are the people that made the first Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, yeah. So, high hopes for that. And man, if anything, jumping back into Left 4 Dead 2 made me more excited for that game. It was just so much fun, and it was like it was so nice to not have to mess with a whole bunch of other crap on top of it too,
Hmm.
because like when I think about games now, it's a lot of like Call of Duty Warzone, right? Where there's like a bunch of different layers to it. There's all these cosmetics and everything that kind of get shoved in your face 24/7, and just so much around the frills bullshit that having kind of a no nonsense experience was real cool, and just made me enjoy it that much more because it was like, hey. We're gonna get in. We're gonna kill some zombies. We're gonna get out, and that's the whole thing. And it's gonna be a quality ride the whole way. And it fucking was, man. It was real good.
Yeah, so much fun. Uh, I really hope that we get back into playing that, because that's just one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, I've said it before. On 360, that was Left 4 Dead 2 on 360 was my Overwatch on Xbox One. Like, I just put so much time into that game, and I
That's a lot of
absolutely love
hours.
it.
That's a high claim.
I played, yeah, I would, and that's the thing, no mods on 360. I would just play all of those maps over and over again, and I would just like get down to the nitty-gritty where I was like learning all the spawn points for the AI and everything. Man, I love that game. Moving on here, I've been playing some Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, and this game is absolutely brilliant. Like,
Is it?
yeah, it is great. So they announced this earlier this year, and this is the game that they're like, okay, you have the Insane Trilogy that had Crash 1, 2, and 3. We're forgetting all that other crap that was released after those games originally released. This is the new canon, and man, this is the first brand new Crash Bandicoot game in well over a decade, I think, right? Like 2006,
Yeah.
2007, I would guess is the last one. Um yeah, they this is made by Toys for Bob, which they helped develop the Insane Trilogy, and they made the Spyro Reignited trilogy. But since Vicarious Visions, who were the head developer of Insane Trilogy, made Tony Hawk Pro Skater, this was all Toys for Bob. And man, just everything about this is just animated perfectly. It's a great, well, from what I've played, it's like a great story so far. I'm on the fourth world, I think, at the moment. And they're short worlds and everything. There's only like 3 or 4 levels per world, but there's a lot of challenge to it, like a classic Crash Bandicoot game. Coco and Crash themselves look great, and they've got new skins. So if you go through, every level has these different, well, not different, but they have these challenges to them, and it's all based around gems. So if you get like all of the crates in the game, in the level, and all of the Wampa fruit, you get 4 gems. Pass the level without dying more than 3 times, you get another one. And there's also another one that I can't remember. Oh, there's just a hidden gem. And if you get all of these gems, you unlock a skin to use on your characters going forward. And they're pretty tough to get all in one run, but you can go back and grab any ones that you missed. Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I out of everything that came out this year, this is definitely in the running for Game of the Year for me so far. I've just loved it so much.
That's high
Maybe
praise.
that changes as I get further into the game, but man, I absolutely love this so far. Especially for a guy that I've been more of a Spyro fan in the past than a Crash Bandicoot fan. Yeah, that's definitely high praise. Just thinking of all the games that came out this year, Crash Bandicoot 4 is right up there for the best of the year.
Yeah, I've got the wiki pulled up here because you had mentioned it's been a long time since the last one, and I noticed two fun things with this.
Okay.
So the first is that the last Crash game to release prior to this, well, aside from Insane Trilogy, of course,
Yeah.
is Nitro Kart 2, and that was in 2010. Uh,
Okay. How about a
but
platformer?
the yeah proper platformer, you're looking at Mind Over Mutant,
Mm,
which would have been 2008
2008.
for
Yeah.
that one. So um, the crazy thing, though, I didn't realize this, but there has been a Crash game every year since 1996, the original, all the way to 2010. There was
Hmm.
one at least one every single year
Yeah.
up to 2010, and then you have the 7 year gap before we get to Insane Trilogy, and then now we've got the fourth Crash game. It's just wild to see. I kind of almost forgot how big of a franchise that Crash was back in the day,
Yeah.
and it
He
really kind of jarred the memory for it.
he was the mascot for PlayStation in the 90s, and then
Yeah.
when Naughty Dog decided they were done with him and his rights got sold to Activision, Activision didn't do as great of a job, but they did the Activision thing and they kept pumping those games out even though they weren't nearly as popular as they were before. Um, but as much crap as we give Activision, like, gotta give them some props. They are nailing these remakes and just like this new title. So
Yeah, they've made some real strong decisions over the past couple of years. I mean, Call of Duty, I think, is in the best state it's been in a long time, even though I don't necessarily agree with all the stuff that they have going on in the periphery of Call of Duty with like microtransactions and stuff.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, these remasters have just been right on top of it, man. The Spyro Reignited trilogy was incredible. The Crash Insane trilogy, great. And the fact that we're getting new games out of this is awesome. Hopefully, this means we get a new Spyro game too. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I really hope so. One of my favorite things is at the very beginning of this game, you start out on this beach that Aku Aku wakes Crash up at, and there's a Spyro floaty just sitting in the water.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, there's so many nice little things like that. Like I said earlier, the animation is just perfect. It's got that cartoony feel to it. Man,
Now,
yeah,
if I'm not
this game's
mistaken,
great.
it's got like a retro mode, doesn't it?
I haven't seen anything like that. I
Okay.
know there's these video cassette tapes you can grab if you get to a certain point in each level without dying, which
Hmm.
lets you. It's so it's like playing as Crash or Coco back in the day when Cortex was like developing them. Do you know the story
Huh.
behind Crash that he was made by
Yeah,
Cortex?
yeah.
Yeah, so I played the first one and it's just like Cortex in the background saying, "Okay, here comes subject whatever number," and the only thing you do is you jump across these crates and you're trying to break them all and get through, and it's kind of difficult, but it's also got like that classic video cassette filter on it with like the lines
Sure, like the
going up and
film
down.
grain.
Yeah, so
Right on.
there's that, but I haven't
Hmm.
seen where I'm at so far. I haven't seen like a retro thing.
Interesting. We'll have to check back in when you get a little further into it, as I heard it ramps up quite a bit and it gets a lot better towards the end, which is good news. So hopefully you stay pretty hot on it.
For sure. What have you been playing?
So the only other one on my list is Destiny 2. And you can kind of speak to this a little bit. We actually jumped back in last night and carried John through, what is it, your first raid? Is that
Second. I did the first one.
second one? Okay, right on. So what, the Leviathan, is that the one you did?
I don't even remember. Whatever the
Okay.
base game raid was.
Okay, yeah, sure. So yeah, we did Last Wish last night, which was, well, most of Last Wish. We still got like the last run from the Riven to the dunk spot, but yeah, it's we jump back in to kind of bring John through it now that the game's on Game Pass and try to help him experience some of that in-game content because he is a little interested in playing when Beyond Light drops. But most notably, they have Festival of Lost going on right now, which is kind of their yearly Halloween October, free expansion that they do, where Evil Levante kind of comes back, and there's all these kind of like papercraft masks and stuff, and it's in full swing. And I gotta say, this year it looks like they really went all out for it. The last couple of years that they've done the event, it's been a little lackluster some years, where the tower isn't very decorated, or it's like one tree that you get there decorated, or maybe a couple masks that are like reprints of the last year's masks, and nothing real exciting. But this year they really kind of pulled all the stops on it and took it a far way. Like the entire tower is decorated. There are little Easter eggs and nods everywhere. Both of the trees are climbable, and there's like free candy up in the trees, which I don't know what that says. Maybe you shouldn't be collecting free candy in trees or eating free candy in trees. It's
Yeah.
probably a bad idea. But yeah, it's just really cool to see. Every now and then, even though I think Bungie's had some big stumbles with the game recently. Um, every now and then they kind of show off that Bungie magic and really showcase why Destiny is the franchise it is today, and show a lot of that talent that existed back in the Halo days too. So a lot of cool stuff there. I'm excited to play some more of that. The final week of Interference is available, so you can get that lore, as well as if you're missing anything for that Forerunner title, then the last couple sets of that are available. So yeah, jumping back into that, prepping for the Beyond Light stuff. I know they just showed off 10 new exotics for the new game, and or a new expansion, and they are fucking sweet, man. I'm so excited to be back into the Destiny grind. It's been far too long since we've gotten some really good stuff. So aside from that, yeah, I plan to hear on more of that from us as we kind of take John through some of that old content and relive it ourselves. But yeah, if you haven't checked it out yet, check out the Festival of Lost. It's real cool this year.
All right, cool. So that's what we've been playing. If you are watching the video version of this podcast, you can see Joel's stream playing Star Wars Squadrons. I haven't been playing any of that. Have you?
So I just finished downloading it yesterday, actually,
Okay.
and I'm probably going to jump in today or tomorrow and spend a little time with that, as I've got a code for PC.
All right, cool. So yeah, we can't really talk on how we feel about that. I think Joel's been liking it though.
He's been real hot on it so far, yeah.
All right, cool. All right, let's jump into the news. And starting off things, GameStop has announced a multi-year strategic partnership with Microsoft. Connor, you're Mr. GameStop. Tell me what this means.
That's me. That's my legal name, in case you didn't know. Yeah, so a lot of this is just high level kind of corporate talk and speak. There's not a lot of like new information out of here. But I think it's kind of the interesting points from this are, at least to me, first and foremost, the fact that Microsoft, who's a company who's been doing so well for themselves, has struck up a partnership with us in any way, shape, or form. Like, obviously, we've been hearing the troubles with GameStop stock and stuff over the past couple of years, and having a hard time pivoting in this new world of almost anti-retail.
Mhm.
And it's kind of wild to me that Microsoft would publicly put their stamp of approval on it, if they didn't have any kind of hopes of it being a fruitful relationship. So I think that's interesting. Reading a couple excerpts from this, just from the first paragraph, it says, GameStop today announced that it has entered into a multi-year strategic partnership agreement with Microsoft Corporation, further advancing its strategy to expand its physical and digital video game offerings, as well as enhance the company's retail technology infrastructure. With over 5,000 plus retail stores worldwide and its world-class e-commerce platform, GameStop leverages its vast customer network, PowerUp Rewards, and omni-channel capabilities to deliver enhanced gaming solutions to its customers. Through this partnership, GameStop will standardize the company's business operations on Microsoft's cloud solutions and hardware products to deliver new, rich digital experiences to customers, creating the ultimate gaming destination for gamers, and its vision to be the premier omni-channel customer access point for video game products. So again, very high, corporate level, legal speak kind of stuff. On the GameStop side of it, I've already seen a lot of this stuff kind of trickle out. GameStop has got some big stuff planned for the near future here, and we've announced some partnerships. Well, not necessarily partnerships, but announced our moving to some different reporting softwares, all based on Microsoft Cloud systems. New registers installed in select stores with Microsoft Surface Pro tablets as the technology, and just things like that. So I think this has been in the works for a little while now, and this is just them kind of finally putting their public stamp of approval on everything. Aside from that, I don't really know what this holds for the future or where this goes. I'm very interested to kind of see this develop over time, but unfortunately, I think it's going to kind of be a wait and see for right now, at least for the near future.
I got you. That's pretty cool. I hadn't looked into this at all. I just saw that you post this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Like I said, it's them kind of touting moving to a lot of Microsoft-backed cloud systems. So I envision a future where GameStop, hosts maybe their website on cloud servers, has some kind of in-store experiences based with like Microsoft products and or some kind of demos kiosks. Like we've already started to see Xbox kiosks rolled out to some GameStop stores where you can actually play the Series X in store, and that's something that Microsoft has not done since the 360 days. They were very, very mum on the whole Xbox One kiosk thing, just due to the popularity of the console and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, you've already seen GameStop and Microsoft partner with the All Access stuff, and I think this just continues to be an extension of that relationship, just kind of offering more Xbox stuff as well as probably better profit cuts for GameStop. So yeah, again, wait and see. It's all legal speak right now, but could be interesting.
Gotcha. All right. You want to take the next one too? I've got to fix my computer here. Something went wonky.
Sure. Yeah, stop breaking things. This next one comes from Paul Tassi at Forbes and says Avengers dips below 1,000 players on PC, causing matchmaking problems. Reading from the article, Avengers is currently in limbo, with Crystal Dynamics seemingly pushing back a number of its roadmap objectives while simultaneously trying to fix what currently ails the game. Loot, loot, and more loot. That's in parentheses. Since players don't know when the fixes are coming, interest in the game appears to be tapering off at an increased pace, and that's starting to come with a few noticeable issues for players that remain. Yeah, so basically it just kind of goes on to detail and further draw some comparisons with Anthem and how quick its player base declined. And they even pulled up some Steam stats here, and in the Steam chart, over the past 7 days, 3 of those days, sorry, from the 8th to the 2nd, um, 3 of those days have been below 1,000 concurrent players, which is just absurd. I mean, this game literally just came out, just launched, was supposed to be this whole spectacle and everything, and we knew that the game had some issues and stuff, but this is crazy. I had no idea that this game was doing this poorly in terms of retaining active players, and I think a lot of it comes down to just how rough this game is right now. Like I own the game and I have no desire to return to it. Once they add some new heroes and maybe patch some of that content, I'm sure I'll poke my head back in with it, but in the state that it's in, it's almost more of a hassle to get it working than it is to just play something else.
Absolutely. I've talked about how much I like the game and everything, but still at release it was a 6 out of 10 for me. It's definitely got a ton of issues. I know there was that bug fix thing that came out that supposedly fixed 1,000 issues with it, which is just okay. Wow.
And it's still not enough. That's the crazy thing to me, is like they put out this massive bug patch, and in most modern games you see, like, that would almost be the end all be all, or at least close to it. And I don't feel any closer to this being a full working game than I was before they put that patch out.
Yeah. I played through all the missions the game had. Like, once you beat the story, it gives you some multiplayer missions to go through, and I went through all those, and I totally understand why people aren't like sticking around for the end game stuff, because it's just not that interesting. The campaign itself is great. Like, it's a very good story. We've talked in the past how Kamala Khan's an excellent character, and all of that stuff. Story stuff is great there, but once you get past that, it's a lot of reused environments, a lot of reused ideas, and it doesn't ever get closer to feeling rewarding in any way, because like we've said in the past, the loot system sucks. It's
Yes.
not fun at all. So I want the game to do well, but like it's in need of some tweaks and everything.
And I
I
think
don't know
even more
when
than
the
tweaks, like I
yeah.
think it needs some overall gameplay changes because really reflecting back on it, like the only fun I have with that game is when I'm actually in a mission doing something,
Mhm.
like fighting enemies. Aside from that, literally everything else is the most unenjoyable experience.
Yeah, no, I get that. There's definitely a lot of things for it to fix. I'm not sure when the Hawkeye DLC comes out, but
So I was just reading into that here, and this paragraph comes down a little bit further in the article and says, "Today is weekly reset, and we have no word that anything is launching today, even though we are supposed to be getting Hawkeye-related Tachyon mission within weeks of launch." And that's drawn directly from what their statements have been up to this point, saying that Hawkeye would come within weeks of launch. It's now been over a month. Sorry, that's an important part of this. So
yeah,
yeah,
mm,
weird.
yeah. It. I mean, it is what it is, but I hope the game gets a turnaround like some other games have. I also just it's so disappointing to me, man. I really think there's a lot of potential in the game, but yeah, it definitely has too many issues. Um, yeah, I guess that's all I've got to say on it. Anything else you want to say on Avengers? You want to bash on it a little more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the
Hulk
same place as
sucks.
you. Oh my God, Hulk is the worst.
It's
Seriously.
awful.
Uh, the game is it's not horrible. It's not the worst thing I've ever played. It's not even a bad game. It's just that there's a large amount of content in that game that shouldn't exist, shouldn't be so difficult to go through, and it just feels like an overly cluttered experience. Like if you strip this down to its core roots and just gave me the action brawler that exists in the heart of the game, like that's a cool video game.
Hmm.
Uh, but it being a always online, always connected, constantly updating, constantly evolving, wannabe MMORPG, blah blah blah, whatever it is, it just doesn't do any of that well, and it suffers by trying to do any of it at all, and it's just such a bummer. It really is still at this point, and for it to be doing this bad, I thought at least the Marvel name would carry it longer than a month at the bare minimum. Like I didn't think we'd be a month into this, thinking about this game already dying off.
There is also a not good, like, I don't know what to call it, a stigma around the game ever since it
Sure.
was unveiled at E3.
Hmm.
There are definitely people that want it to fail, I think, because that's just internet culture in general.
For sure.
And that kind of stuff does carry into the general public at times, where you have the hardcore, they're like, oh no, don't play this, it's terrible. Um, but I think most of it is genuinely that the game's just lackluster. It's too lackluster for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's definitely the issue here.
Especially for the pedigree that it came from.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the most important things to remember with this is that we're not talking about a new studio. We're not talking about somebody fresh. We're not talking about
Yeah, this is Crystal Dynamics.
yeah, like we're talking about big companies pouring millions of dollars into this, probably
Hmm.
hundreds of millions of dollars into this, and it effectively has just crashed and burned on launch. And I think if the campaign was any worse in that game, God, I can't even imagine. I would have no interest in that game whatsoever. The
Yeah,
campaign is really the saving grace in that
absolutely.
steaming dog pile of shit.
Yeah. Oh, well, here's hoping that that improves over time. All right, next up, we got some Minecraft news. Actually, quite a bit of it. So, first of all, last week, me and Joel talked about our predictions for the new Smash Brothers character that was revealed after we recorded, and we were guessing Crash Bandicoot. What was the other one? Uh, we said Doom Guy was a no. I think we mentioned Master Chief, but it was actually a different Minecraft character. Or not Minecraft, Xbox character.
Xbox character, yeah.
Steve and Alex from Minecraft are coming to Smash pretty soon. So it's Steve, Alex, and then there's skins for the Enderman and the zombie. There's a pig me brawler costume coming as well, and as well as some other me costumes like usual. And in the past, when people have asked for Steve to come into the game, I was like, I don't know about that. I get how popular he is. Maybe he'd be better as a trophy. But after watching the reveal trailer and then also seeing his gameplay, I'll be damned if Sakurai didn't pull this one off. Like, it looks great. Have you seen his gameplay?
I have, and I just want to say that that reveal was one of the funniest and effective reveals I've ever seen Nintendo pull off. Like that was so much fun.
And this
Because
is Smash we're
you
talking
know,
about, which always has great reveals.
right, like the banjo reveal was incredible,
Mm-hmm.
just absolutely incredible. It was so funny, and this they handled it with a perfect tone, and really just knocked it out of the park. I mean, this character looks fun to play. It looks like he fits right into Smash, and they made it work. They didn't just cram it in there; they made it work, and by golly, does it work real fucking good.
Yeah. So yeah, a neat little tidbit of information on this is that every single level in the game has to be reworked for them because they actually like dig into the ground and everything and things like pixelate away like in Minecraft. And then you have all the different Minecraft things that they bring into the game as well. It's really cool if you and I you see a lot of like the core fighting game community kind of dogging on this at the moment, like, oh, you shouldn't be, it's for kids and whatever. First of all, we're talking about Nintendo here. Second of all, we're talking about
Yeah.
the best selling game of all time, which still
Hmm.
has millions and millions of people play every single day. I wonder why Minecraft made its way into Smash. Come on, we're talking about the biggest icons in all of gaming in this game. Minecraft has to be in there at some point. Um, but yeah, I think it looks great. I already have the battle pass ordered and everything, so I'm gonna get him. And once he comes out, I'll give it a try and report back on it. But yeah, definitely exciting stuff there. I think it was a couple days after that announcement, though, was Minecon Live, which is the annual big show for Minecraft where they reveal all the new stuff coming in the game. And there was also some dungeon stuff because that game came out this year. And first of all, for Minecraft itself, the highly anticipated Caves and Cliffs update was revealed. That is coming in 2021. This was voted on at last year's Minecon by the fans for like the most wanted update, I guess, in the game. So yeah, this is like completely reworking the cave system. They added in just brand new underground biomes. Apparently, there's a bunch of lava lakes, skeleton infested mines. There's also like this cave with all this plant life growing in it and everything. There's also more underground like water systems and everything. I also saw some new mob in there. I couldn't see. I don't remember what it was called. Axolotl or something. It had a weird name. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Also new blocks, of course, like with every update. What else do we got in here? Crystal geodes. There's also mountain goats being added into the game, which is pretty cool. Excited to see how they act and everything. A lot of cool stuff. Every time Minecraft has a big update like this, it's exciting. Like, I don't know how many years in the Minecraft are we getting now, and it's just not losing its luster yet because Microsoft has, well, I guess we should just say Mojang has done an excellent job of updating the game and just keeping it relevant.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 11 years since the launch of the original Minecraft, which is crazy to think about. I mean, it's not only one of the highest sold game of all time. It's still just as popular today as it used to be, and I think for anybody to be able to pull something like this off, like it's insane to think about. Like a lot of people dog on Minecraft for being childish or being for kid focused or whatever, but you know
It's
I
such a
think that a lot
deep
of
game.
people that's the thing is like I think a lot of the people that hate on it, they don't understand it or they've never played it, and I'm not going to sit here and preach the gospel of Minecraft, but it is such an incredible and an in-depth experience front to back, and it's wild how like just joyful it is, like there are the games like this that are so outside of the regular video game bubble that kind of capture the collective consciousness like this don't really exist aside from a handful of titles, and it's just super super cool. And to see them still doing stuff like I just watched these videos for like the goats and stuff, and every time I'm like, okay, they're done with Minecraft. They can't do anything else. Like they find something else to do, and do more with it. Like, and for instance, using the IP in different ways. Like Minecraft Dungeons was fantastic. It was
Hmm.
so much fun, and it was using an IP that was already beloved, built up. I think we're going to continue to see Minecraft stuff for a long time to come. Just because it's so wildly successful, everybody knows what it is. It's a
Absolutely.
Power Rangers. It's a Pokemon. Like everybody knows what Minecraft is.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a big hitter, and it's going to stay that way for a while. All right, and then rounding up the Minecraft news, speaking of dungeons, we have crossplay coming to the game later in November. I think they announced it. And a new DLC called Howling Peaks, as well as Apocalypse Plus difficulty. So if you are feeling too strong in the game, things are going to get a little tougher. So yeah, definitely some cool stuff. Have you been playing? When's the last time you played Minecraft Dungeons?
So
Because
I
I know
checked
you
out
really
like
liked it.
yeah, I'm real hot on the game. I've been waiting for a couple of the DLCs to kind of drop. That way I can kind of power through more content. So
Hmm.
I dropped out right before the new DLC. So it was like a week or two before the first DLC, sorry, came out. So it's been a little while, but I was max level. I had all my gear maxed out. I beat all the levels and everything, and really took my time with it. And it is so much fun to play. And I'm absolutely going to jump back in once um, these new DLCs drop. And with it being on Game Pass, like it's so easy to get people to jump in and play with you, and it's such a great drop in drop out game that gosh, man, I honestly I might play more tonight. It's so good.
Yeah, I played the Jungle DLC that they put out a few weeks ago, and it was pretty good. And I mean, it's more standard Minecraft dungeon stuff. Uh, yeah, excited to see how this game evolves and more. So awesome stuff. Keep it going, Mojang. All right, let's move on to the quick news. First up, Universal Studios Japan's Super Nintendo World now plans to open in spring 2021. This was originally set to open this summer, but hey, pandemic. They also
Yeah.
revealed like a new Mario Cafe, which looks pretty cool and everything. I can't wait until this comes to Orlando. I definitely will be planning a trip down there. What do you think of it?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's pretty obvious exactly what happened here with it getting delayed, but it's super cool. And we've seen some of the pictures of the construction and stuff that they put up for this, and it's kind of mind-boggling, like seeing giant mushrooms and stuff on top of 6 or 7 story buildings. It's weird in a way that I didn't expect, but also I'm incredibly game for it.
Absolutely.
Also in a way I didn't expect.
Yeah, from the videos and stuff that have leaked, everything just looks great. Like, they've handled it with so much care and everything, like the spinning coins and Yoshi like running around and everything. Man, it's so cool. I really want to go. Next up, Phil Spencer says xCloud on console is on the long list of things to do. So this means streaming on your console, so you don't have to download your games and everything. I recently got into a conversation with someone on Twitter about something like this, but on PC, where they were hoping for a streaming thing. And I've always been of the mindset downloading a game was better than streaming because of the latency and everything. But they actually brought up a thing that I hadn't thought about when it comes to the PC, is just that, I mean, if you have a PC that can't handle that download, streaming it is the better option. So that's kind of changed my mind on things, that this is actually kind of a cool thing that could be coming in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's something they've talked about in the past, wanting to do with that xCloud platform, and I think it's cool, but I also think seeing the public reception to Stadia and now Amazon's Luna, it probably made them pump their brakes on it a little bit. Like, I'm sure it's still something they go forward with, but it's just not as sought after in the current environment as I think some companies were expecting it to be. And that really comes down to an infrastructure thing, where like a lot of the internet infrastructure in the US is just not great. It's not in a good place. Like 5G is still God knows how long away from being a fully realized technology. And a lot of people's home Wi-Fi's are still or ISPs rather are data capped. Like my ISP caps me out to a terabyte a month. And then I have to pay some absurd amount of money in order to tell them sorry or something. I don't know. I don't understand how data caps work. They're stupid. But
Right.
um, it's something that I just don't think is as prevalent as a lot of companies thought it was going to be. So I don't think this gets turned around anytime soon. And I feel like Phil Spencer's probably got a lot of stuff on his to-do list, like buy out the rest of the industry.
Hey, he can just, whatever he's doing, let him do it. With time,
Yeah.
he's just gonna fix everything, I think. Thanks,
Right.
Dad. Keep it going. Moving on to some next-gen upgrade news. Connor, I know you and me love hearing this, but we actually have some good news. Mortal Kombat 11 will get free next-gen upgrades, as well
All right.
as crossplay with a K, of course, because Mortal Kombat.
Definitely.
Coming to the PlayStation and Xbox ecosystems. No word on PC or Switch. Switch especially, I doubt that's going to happen. PC, I don't think that would happen as well, but I don't know. You're more into the fighting community than I am. Would that work?
Yeah, there wouldn't be too many issues with it. Most fighting games are
Well, I was thinking like a
capped.
fighting pad thing. Like, would that give
Yeah.
PC players an edge?
Yeah, I mean, you can use a fight pad on a PlayStation or an Xbox just fine. And honestly, like
Okay.
a lot of big time players in the fight scene still play with controller anyway. Like Sonic
Okay.
Fox. He's won several tournaments and he's a controller guy. So
Okay.
at least to the best of my knowledge, don't stone me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, it opens it. But you know what? My favorite part of this entire story is.
What's up?
My favorite part of this whole story isn't anything about Mortal Kombat. It's the fact that crossplay isn't a huge news story.
That it's the next
Like,
gen thing?
that it's just a thing. Like
Yeah.
it's just a quiet announcement. It's not like
It's coming.
print this on the front pages or anything. Like it's just fucking normal now, man. The way it always should have been, and
That
it's
is awesome.
it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Crap. What's the control guys? Not Remedy. 505.
Yeah, 505 games.
Yeah, 505. Sony. Take a look. These guys are pulling off the free upgrade.
Maybe you could learn how to be consumer friendly as well.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Cyberpunk 2077 has gone gold. If you don't know what that means in the gaming industry, that means that the game is on its way to actually being produced and everything. They're not necessarily done developing the game, but this means no more delays. The game will release next November, or this November. And
oh God.
Yeah, this November, and it's on the way to being good to go. So exciting stuff for Cyberpunk people.
Absolutely. It's a game that I'm very hot on, and I'm very much ready to play. I'm a little concerned. It's probably conversation for next week, but a little concerned with the reports of mandatory crunch coming out when they had explicitly promised to media that they were not going to be doing any kind of mandatory crunch for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, me and
So I'm a
Joel
little
talked
bummed
about
on
that a
that.
bit last week.
Okay, right on.
It's disappointing. Um, there's a bunch of different ways you can go on this.
Yeah, I think it's a much dicier conversation than just being black or white.
Hmm.
And it just really sucks, and my heart goes out to those people that this affects the most. Is they're the ones that kind of have to pay in blood for this to happen the way that corporate wants it to. So
Yep.
respect, and hang in there.
Yep. Rounding things out, for the first time, the PlayStation 5's X button, which I guess is actually the cross button, if you ask Sony, that
Fuck
will
Sony. No, it's not. It's the X button. Get out of
that
here.
will globally be the confirm button, your A button, if you will. So in America and I think Europe, it's always been the X button. So the click to confirm, it's that button. But in Japan, in the past, it's always been circle, which
Mhm.
you can understand. Circle as confirm, X is no, and everything. But now everywhere is gonna have that, and I feel sorry for everyone in Japan who's gonna have to make that transition, because it's just so ingrained in their mind, man. I don't think it'll be a huge issue or anything, but it's definitely gonna take a little bit of getting used to over there.
Yeah, minor inconvenience for sure. I mean, it's been that way for decades.
Which,
I guess to liken
real
it
quick,
to
like,
something,
why even make that change though if it's been this way for so long?
I think to make it easier on developers, because developers would have to recode based on territories what the confirm or deny button is for a lot of their stuff, and it
Would
just
it
added
though?
extra time. Yeah, because they'd have to
Hmm.
rewrite it for localization and everything, and it just puts extra work in it
Hmm.
for the
Okay.
most part. So that's most likely the big reason behind the change, and it's nice to just have parity across the board
Okay.
for it. To liken it to something else, it would be like turning on inverted controls for your joysticks and only playing that way moving forward and having to learn that. Like, you could do it, but it's gonna suck and you're gonna be annoyed for a while.
Absolutely. Okay, so going on to our topic of the week, and I was trying to think of a topic of the week. I thought about talking about how much I miss the MCU and everything, but we'll hold off on that for now. Um, I want to know, what current things in video games will we look back on as a product of this time? So, if you kind of need an explanation on this, Connor, because I know it's kind of
Sure.
hard to keep up with me at times. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. When you think back to the 90s, those were the mascot days. 2D platformers, and then 3D was coming in. The early 2000s was really like, oh yeah, look, 3D graphics are coming along, but there's a lot of gameplay here that just doesn't feel great today. What do you think we are playing with right now? Let's say 10 years down the road, we look back on it and we're like, man, that just does not stick around for 2030. Because I can already give you one right away, and I think it's a very easy one. Loot boxes. I don't think they're
Yeah.
long for this business. There's definitely been a lot of pushback on it. I think in 2030, if you go back and play any game with a loot box, which there's a lot, you're going to be like, wow, this was awful. But we also kind of said the same thing with season passes and everything. And they're kind of still around, but not really. I guess they're kind of being replaced with battle passes.
I think that they're for the loot box thing, like I think that they'll still exist, like in-game microtransactions and stuff, but I think it's going to evolve to be effectively unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm.
Like either it tells you exactly what you're going to get out of the boxes you buy, so it's just a straight direct purchase instead of a random roll, or maybe it's like they're limited to only a certain number of things in the box and all of it has equal chances, and whatever it is, whether it gets more consumer friendly, I I think loot boxes will kind of stick around for a while, but I certainly don't think that they'll be anything like what we have now. Like everything out there at the moment just feels so predatory
Mm-hmm.
and overdone. I guess is the way I would think of it. Um, to add something else to it, I guess things that I would look back on is this being the era of something that doesn't exist anymore in the future. I mean, battle royales jump out as is the
You
other
don't
easy
think they'll
one to
stick
go
around?
to. I don't think they stick around in the way that they are. I think that that DNA continues to evolve and move through the ecosystem. But I think that it's either going to be again wildly unrecognizable to what we have now, or it won't be anywhere near the industry craze that it is.
Well,
Because
obviously,
everybody's got to have a fucking battle royale
everything
right
goes through
now.
that thing. Survival
Sure,
games were like that for a while. 3D platformers were
deathmatch, yeah.
deathmatch. Yeah, no, I can see that. Uh, I've always been of the opinion that battle royale games should be it should be more of a game mode instead of a genre. Like I
Yeah.
really like that for like Call of Duty and stuff.
Hmm.
I'm I guess it's fine for the free to play games, Fortnite and all those where you're not paying anything to play the game. But
Even
I
thinking
always
on
like
that,
that
like
there's more to
Fortnite,
do besides just the
yeah.
battle royale.
And that's the thing is like even Fortnite is so unrecognizable from what PUBG was,
Hmm.
back when it started. Like we've already come such a long way, and I totally agree. I think it gets relegated to a game mode rather than a game genre because to me that's where it should have been already. I don't think that it has at least right now. I don't think that it has the legs to be a singular cohesive experience that warrants like a traditional $60 price tag. Like obviously Fortnite's a free thing with paid path and all that stuff, but
Hmm.
when I think of traditional $60 video game, like I don't think of a battle royale in
I
that way.
gotcha.
I guess
And
the other one I would think of, I was thinking while you were talking, I would hope this is the last or last kind of era of games not being crossplay. I hope that
yeah,
we look back on it and we're like, man, remember when games, you were stuck only playing with your PlayStation friends?
yeah, and that was the
Uh,
norm.
right, yeah, and that was the general accepted thing. Like I hope this is the end of that because
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, am I sick of there being weird walls between everybody?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this that does kind of feel like the same thing where like before online play was such a widely regarded thing. Like local multiplayer was the only thing, but now I can
Yeah.
jump on there and play with anyone. When I was a kid, that just wasn't a thing. I never even thought of being able to play with a friend down the street.
Yeah, no, I have very fond memories. I had a friend that used to live like 10, 12 blocks away from me, just down the road. And
Mhm.
growing up in the small country town that I did, uh, we would just walk to each other's houses and we'd like spend the night at each other's house. We'd, stay up till 4 a.m. playing Mercenaries or something ridiculous. And, it was an absolute blast. And like video games don't exist in that way anymore. But I feel like with crossplay getting there, it's almost accessible in that same way because like it no longer matters what you have, like you're just there and you can play and that's it
Mhm. Yeah.
you know
Um the one thing this thing I kind of more hope will be a relic of this age. Loot games. I'm so tired
oh,
of loot games. I know you love
sure,
Destiny.
I do,
Uh,
yeah.
I really like Division.
Hmm.
I've said I like Avengers, but I don't like that every game is trying to work in a loot system.
Yeah.
I hate it. In fact, it's so annoying to me. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having an issue with words today. I don't like how it's like a fake way to find more gameplay. It
It's
doesn't feel
artificial
right to me.
inflation.
There you go, artificial. That
Yeah.
was goddamn. Yeah, I don't like it. I hope more companies start realizing, like I think Square Enix will be right now, that this isn't really a great path to force into your game. I'm so tired of them, man.
No, I totally agree. Even for my love with Destiny, like it is a way to artificially inflate the time that somebody spends in a game because you're gating things behind an RNG system, and not only does it not really feel good if it's not tuned very well, it's also just miserably frustrating to like grind the same thing over and over and over again, hoping for a chance to get something that you want. And it's just not a good way. I think that goes hand in hand with the other thing that I hope ends. If I was going to make one final wish, stacking with you, that wish would be I wish developers and publishers, it's probably more publishers than developers, but I wish they would all stop trying to be the only game you play. you
Right.
know and it's just so incredibly disrespectful of your consumers time to think that they can play every game that releases for 200 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Anymore, when I hear our game's an open our game's an open world video game with 300 plus hours of game time, like,
Anything that
fuck
pushes
that,
me
man.
away.
Absolutely. I'm like, oh great, another game that looks cool, but I don't fucking have time for.
Right.
I'm never going to be able to invest time into this, and it sucks. It makes me likely to not buy that video game. And I really hope that's one of the big lessons that comes out of this. Because when everybody tries to be the only one, then that just starts killing competition. It starts killing any kind of advancement in video games. Like it just stifles growth, and I just hate it so much. I hate that every game wants to be the only game. It sucks, and I say that as a Destiny player. Like, I love my time with Destiny, but even that game is so incredibly disrespectful of your time, of your free time. And Avengers, same thing. Like, that's the reason I'm not playing it, because I can't just jump in, jump out, play an hour and feel satisfied. Like, I've got to instead engage with the shitty loot system. I've got to engage with these crappy skill trees. I've got to, buy battle passes for every fucking character that they put out, and it just doesn't feel good anymore. And there are a lot of companies that have done it right, and shown that you can put a solid quality product out that it doesn't have to be 100 hours. Control, I mean, my favorite game of 2018, Control, was a very easy front to back experience, single player campaign, no multiplayer or anything like that. You just go through, you play it, you enjoy it, and you're done with it. And I fucking love that video game, for both what it is and for that reason. That it's not trying to be this game that just keeps you much longer than you should be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
And man, do I really hope that dies to the annals of history, because I don't have time. I don't have time for all of these games that want to be the video game. Like, fuck
Mm-hmm.
you, your game's not that good. Let me play it for 10 hours and then move on with my life. And in that place, indie games shine. Indie developers, keep doing what you're doing. We love you. You're doing a lot of cool shit, and I'm sorry that the big guys suck.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a games as a service thing.
Yes.
Maybe a little less of that, and then a little more, just kind of like taking it back a little bit. Like, just hold off here. I think uh, one of the biggest offenders of that is Ubisoft. Like,
Yes.
we know how they are with Assassin's Creed, and then Siege, and
Mm-hmm.
all their upcoming games that are very much their upcoming games are very much single player, but they just try and like get as much of your time out as they can.
Here's a 150-hour video game that we release every year on top of the
Mm-hmm.
7 other video games we release every year.
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
it's makes me mad.
Good discussion. But that does it for episode 115 of the Pixel Street podcast. Like I said at the beginning of the show here, be sure to hop onto our Discord and join us for Among Us. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, and check out our Left 4 Dead 2 gameplay video. Connor, where can the people find you?
Yeah, the good people can find me on Twitter and Twitch at the real Birch. That's Birch like the tree without the I, so BRCH. I poke around on Twitch from time to time. I've been thinking about doing some replays of some older games that I really enjoy, like Stanley Parable, since apparently we're never going to get the upgraded version of
I'm
that.
very excited for that to come out. I hope it comes out sooner rather than later.
Me too, man. I've been thinking about that game a lot, and I might just jump back into it and do a stream of it. So, yeah, on top of that, I mean, we're going to be doing the community play night here this week. Definitely follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff for that information, because we'd love to have you. And usually I try to stream when we're doing that kind of stuff too. And then Twitter, you could come give me your bad opinions and then listen to mine, because you have no power over me, and I'm going to spew them anyway. So.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at RevXShadows. Hopefully, I'm hoping to have some new websites to be writing for here pretty soon. Maybe stick around for that news. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching, guys, or listening, and we will catch you same time next week. Bye.
See ya.